Well, Coon does out there adventures here. I'm all packed up with the ultralight canoe, and I'm taking off right now to the Adirondack Mountains. I'm supposed to say something profound here, but I can't think of anything. How profound is that? Okay, just entering the park. We traveled about 140 miles or so far. 70 miles left to go. It's the largest park in the continental United States, and I'm going to be pretty much smack dab in the middle of it, in the middle of absolutely nowhere. Well, yesterday did not turn out as planned. I got to the parking lot, I loaded up my canoe, went down the river just 30 yards, and it is so tippy. He mentioned it was tippy. And then the combination that I have some vertigo issues, sometimes severe, and I had to take off from work. But that combination did not work, and I filled the canoe with water. I almost tipped it over, so I was praying I made it back to shore. I made it to shore. Oh, that would have stunk. I probably would have lost stuff and sunk to the bottom. Needless to say, I'm not using that tippy canoe. It's an ultralight handmade canoe, and it's not for me. I've used canoes many times. I had a canoe years ago that was tippy, and I sold it. So it's not happening. So I have plan B today. I figured out what I was going to do last night. I braid the mosquito gauntlet to go down this trail to this pond, set up camp down there, and it's a very remote part. So that's the plan for today. There's my backpack against the tree. And this has got to be the tallest pine I have ever seen in my life. These things are enormous. I can't even see the tops of them. There's a gigundous one right over here too. It's lower. Back there in the woods. I mean, you can't even see the tops. They got to be like 150 feet tall. Unbelievable. The jade or Jude plant, I forget what it's called. But this plant right here, the little orange flowers that look a little bit like snapdragons, is really good for mosquito bite infection and so on. I got my leg scratched up a little bit. It's kind of itchy going through all this tall grass in the trail. So I'm putting it on there, help take away a little bit of the edge. It's not that bad, but just want to show this medicinal thing. Some of the mountains, the snow doesn't melt your skiing down them in June. But these mountains here get to 40, 50 below in the winter. 30 below is not uncommon on most winters. And 20 below, piece of cake. But this area is just was passed up by the settlers. You can't really grow anything around here. It wasn't good for grass and in too many areas. They didn't do cattle, so it was good for lumber and hunting. And like I said, it was bypassed by the settlers and so on. And what happened was, this was the only place left in New York State that had forest, and by the year 1900. And this was forested, and then I guess I think it was 1890. The sign said it earlier on the thing. It became a park, and unfortunately, with a lot of the park here, you can't take the trees down. And there's tons and tons. I mean, this is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's dark in here. It's a sunny day because there's so much canopy. It's not really good for wildlife, but there is plenty of private land for forestry still around, which, and of course, the beavers clear out areas for the moose. And there is swamp areas where there's a lot of moose. They say there's like 900 moose up here. I think there's a lot more than that. I see a lot more moose signs than I do bear signs, and they say there's thousands of bears up here. I don't know about that. One of the people at the parking lot said they saw a mob bear and 2 cubs cross the river. I've only seen them at night here, scrounging around the designated sites. But anyway, the Adirondacks, just huge wilderness area on the East Coast. Nothing else like it on the East Coast, and nothing else like it in the United States as far as size. And a very well kept secret. But there's areas up here that no one ever goes, and that's where I'm headed. I finally made it. Of course, I start filming, the loon goes underwater fishing. He'll be back up. But see if we can get a nice view of this place without dropping this into the water. Get a better view later. Well, I had to go back twice to get my stuff. About 3 miles altogether. I had to kill that deer fly. There's a lot of mosquitoes because a lot of rain lately. Oh, there's the loon. I don't know if you guys can see it. Just surfaced out there. But good, I'm glad there's loon here. I like hearing the loons sing it, actually all night long. But went back under fishing, so that answers my question whether this spot has fish or not. The loon's fishing there, there's fish here, so I'm going to fish with the loon here in a wee bit.